Beyond Meat patties. Somehow manufacturers have figured out how to make meat from plants. I've heard differing opinions on whether they've nailed the taste or even the texture, but I'm curious to know if the ingredients in plant-based meat substitute are even healthy for you. So, to the ingredients list. Firstly, there's water, an essential element to life. Next, pea protein. Pea protein is extracted from the yellow pea. Peas are first dried, then the outer shell is shaken off by machine. The remaining parts of the pea are ground into a fine powder. The starch and fiber are removed. Next, expeller pressed canola oil, which is created by pressing the seeds of the canola plant with a lot of force. The expeller press does this without adding any additional heat or cold. Canola oil is widely considered as healthy as it is low in saturated fats. Next, refined coconut oil, which is made by filtering, then drying the flesh inside the coconut. The remaining pieces are then pressed into an oil. Be wary of this health food as it is actually very high in unhealthy saturated fats. Next, rice protein, which is made by grinding down brown rice into a fine powder, then adding an enzyme. This enzyme separates the carbohydrates from the protein. The protein portions are then isolated. Scientists suggest rice protein can reduce cholesterol levels and it's healthy for you. And natural flavors include any additive coming from a plant or an animal. Next, cocoa butter, which comes from the cocoa bean. These beans are roasted and then pressed to extract the fats. Next, mung bean protein. Similar to rice protein, mung beans are roasted, dried, then ground into a fine powder. The proteins are then separated. It is generally regarded as safe and is full of essential amino acids. Next, methylcellulose, which is an emulsifier, likely used to keep Beyond Meat patties intact and fresh while frozen. It is considered safe to eat by both the FDA and the European Food and Safety Authority. Next, potato starch, which comes from crushed potatoes. The starches are then released from these potatoes and it is washed, dried, and turned into a fine powder. It is used as a thickener in the patties. Although it is very low in nutrients, it is generally regarded as safe to eat. Next, apple extract, which is made by peeling and drying the fruit. Ethanol is added to turn the remnants into a powder. The ethanol is then evaporated, leaving just the apple powder. It is an antioxidant and a good source of vitamins. Next, pomegranate extract, which is made in a similar way to apple extract. Scientists suggest pomegranate may lower your risk of heart diseases and blood clots. Next, salt. There are about 350 milligrams of sodium per patty, which is only about 15% of the daily recommended intake. And potassium chloride is used in replacement of salt and is generally regarded as safe. Vinegar is a mixture of water and acetic acid. The vinegar adds a sourness to the patties, which more than likely balances the flavor. It's perfectly safe to consume. And lemon juice concentrate, which is extracted from lemons and adds a tart taste to foods. And sunflower lecithin, which prevents the patties from separating and adds a moist texture. It's made by dehydrating a sunflower and separating out the gum. A small amount of sunflower lecithin is added to the patties, and it's safe to consume. Next, beet juice extract, which comes from the dried beetroot plant that has been ground into a fine powder. Scientists suggest it can reduce cholesterol and the amount of fat within your blood. This is ideal for those with high blood pressure. As for me, I prefer the char you can get from cooking traditional meats and the flavor of traditional meats. But with all the emerging brands and varieties, I think I may eat more plant-based meat. I'm curious to know, what do you all think of Beyond Meat? And do you all have a plant-based protein brand that you're loyal to yet? Leave it down below.